So many times individuals or couples will come to me in our work together and they'll be frustrated because they're doing the work, they're doing the tools, they're doing everything that I'm asking them to do, but the healing is really slow. And then we have to look at this question. It's really hard to heal in the environment you got sick in or the place that you got sick in, right? So we can look at this from every area of life. It takes a very strong person to look at their environment and say, this is what's created the stress, the anxiety, the ongoing frustration, the low self-confidence, the low self-esteem, and how am I going to heal if I stay in this environment? I'll give you an example, a career, a great one. A client I worked with had been in a university system for about 15 years, and every couple of years she gets shuffled to another department, and the department heads were not a fan of hers, but she had been there so long, she was kind of tenured in, but every place she went, she was mistreated. And this was true. I mean, I actually had heard a recording of one of her bosses talking to her in a very condescending way over a very simple matter. So as we're working together, she's seeing her anxiety rise, and then finally it came to this realization that in that environment, it was not good for her. For whatever reasons whatsoever, her personality, the personality of the administrators were not a match. So the only way we could get her to heal was to get her out of that environment. Now, it took about 6 months to find a good job, but it was worth it because in the new job, she was heralded, she was respected, she was loved, if you want to say it that way. Okay, so we can't heal in the environment that you got sick in. So let's take relationships. Many times we have to use separation. And when I say separation, there's all kinds of forms, but you can't heal a marriage if you're living in the same environment and going at each other all of the time, right? It's that environment is filled with toxicity. So we do a couple simple things. Number one is that we make sure that both the couples have activities outside of the home to give them something to look forward to, whether it's a art or photography or a sport, something. We make sure that if a couple isn't doing it, we get them out of that environment where they're sick, right? Where that they've created this stress, this tension, all these arguments. Then next we might say, hey, listen, for the next 7 to 14 days, we want you to sleep separately. It's really hard to heal a marriage or a relationship if you're not sleeping well, because then we're not thinking clearly and we can be more on edge and more irritable. So we might go to a week or 2 or 3 weeks, maybe even a month with some couples where they sleep in separate bedrooms. Then we give them exercises where they can start to pull it back together. But we say you cannot heal in the environment you got sick in. And then the last thing we do when it comes to a couple that is not getting along and maybe they've tried the separate bedrooms and it's not working is that we separate for 90 days. And we have a program, Living Apart While Trying to Stay Together, which is this 90-day separation where people live separately, but we work on healing the marriage. And it works. It works more of the times than it doesn't. It's incredible. Some of the couples that I'm still in touch with, that I took them through this 90-day program a number of years ago, and their marriage has never been stronger. So it does work, but you cannot heal in the environment that you got sick in. Sometimes that we just end up in the wrong place. You know, I remember kind of an oxymoronic story. I was at a Catholic high school my first 2 years, and I had an environment there that was not good for me. It wasn't good for me at all. Wearing a shirt and tie is not David Essel. It wasn't back then. I was a little kid. You know, there were just so many rules and so many regulations, and it was killing me. And it showed. It showed in my schoolwork and everything else. When my parents finally said to me, the only way you're going to transfer to a public school is if you work with a counselor for 8 to 10 weeks, I said, great. And at the end of 8 to 10 weeks, the counselor, who happened to be a priest, said, I recommend that your son goes to another school. So I got out of the environment I was sick in, right? And then I prospered in the other environment that was more like me, more like David Essel. So think about this. You may have friendships that you're going to have to take some time away from. You may look at the job and go, this is just a toxic environment, and start looking for another job. You may look at your relationship and say, we can't heal here together. I'm going to take some time off. I'm not, and then we always say to couples, if they're going to take time off, that there's no emotional affairs, no physical affairs. I mean, that's obvious, but we have them stated. Actually, if they're going to do the 90-day separation, they write a contract out and both of them sign it. Just remember, you cannot heal in the environment you got sick in. Make really good choices. And if I can help you out at all, go to talkdavid.com or davidessel.com. Comment below if you understand this concept. Share the videos. Do whatever you can. Let's heal together. I'm David Essel. Have a great day.